Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Thank you for tuning in. 20 minutes after 11 o'clock, and Mary McNear is on the phone. You might know her from the Butternut Lake series, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
Stumbled over that. It's just a pretty name, right? Butternut Lake.
It is.
Mary has written a book, a new book. The Secrets We Carried is the name of this one. It is a Butternut Lake novel. Good morning, Mary. Thank you for being on our show.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for inviting me on your show. I'm thrilled to be here.
See, your voice sounds as sweet as the name Butternut Lake. It's just a pretty sounding name, sounding voice.
You know what I love about the name Butternut? It always makes me hungry, right? Like, what could be better than a butter wrapped around a nut, right?
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
So I live on the West Coast now, but I'm still a Midwesterner at heart. I grew up in Chicago, and I spent my summers, every summer, until this day, on a lake in the northern Midwest that I based the Butternut Lake novels on.
Now, Robin grew up about a block from Lake Michigan in Milwaukee.
I did, you're right. Yay. Absolutely. So I really have I'm happiest by the lake. I'm happiest by a lake.
Yeah.
But this lake, Butternut Lake, is not quite as big as Lake Michigan, right?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. And that's good because the town of Butternut is much smaller than Chicago, right? So they don't need as big a lake as Lake Michigan.
So the Butternut Lake appears in this novel as in previous novels. Do the characters also, are they recurring characters?
There are recurring characters, but you know what? I worked really hard to write a series where you could jump in at any point. You didn't have to read every novel, and you didn't necessarily have to read them in order, because that would annoy me. I'd buy like a mystery in an airport, and then I'd realize, oh no, I'm supposed to know who all these characters are. So I worked really hard to make sure you can jump in at any time.
You've really done a good job intertwining a sadness and tragedy with happiness.
Thank you so much. It's really hard to do, but it's really important because, let's face it, we have both in our lives, right? Mm-hmm. And if we're lucky, and most of us are, we get more happiness than sadness. But I really wanted to explore the way those two so often come intertwined with each other.
So tell us about Quinn LaPointe. Who's that?
So she's the main character. She left Butternut 10 years ago after she graduated from high school, and she has not been back since because in the spring of her senior year, there was a tragedy that three young men from the town drowned when their pickup truck fell through the ice out on one of the local lakes in kind of an early spring thaw, and one of those young men was her boyfriend. So she, I try to explore the different ways people deal with tragedy, and her way of dealing with it was to leave and to not come back. But of course, what she discovers is that it followed her anyway. So I really wanted to, some of the main themes are about, coming home and facing the past and forgiving oneself.
It is.
And yes, there's a healthy dose of romance mixed into all that too.
Yeah, there's a contrast, I guess is the best word, for going back to a place that you have fond memories of, but you also have some not so fond memories. So there's a contrast in that. And was that a challenge for you to write about, or did you go through something like that in your own life?
I mean, I think we all have experienced tragedy in some form, so I understood how to write about that. I think what interested me too was that how differently different people handle tragedy. So, for instance, Quinn leaves, but she also knows people who stayed behind, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they worked through it either.
And when she left, attitudes of people that she knew were one way, and when she returned, they were the other.
No, it's true. I know, and I think that's what's so difficult is, those relationships, they don't just stop when you leave. I mean, one of the people she left behind was Gabriel, this young man who was her best friend in high school. But of course, they may have had feelings for each other that went beyond friendship. But when she left, I know there's a love triangle here, because who does not love a book with a good love triangle in it, right?
Right.
What could possibly be more fun? What can I say? I like to tell people that the first, last, and only time I was in a love triangle, I was in the 5th grade. So I wasn't the luckiest twin. I wish I could say that in adulthood, or even young adulthood, 2 men have been in love with me at the same time. But it could still happen. You never know, right?
You never know. Yeah, it is. So the person that she is romantic with in this book is a friend that she hadn't seen for a while, but was part of her life before the truck fell into the ice. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
They were those. Yep, exactly. They were those best friends who do everything together until, of course, she started dating Jake. So there was some tension there, as there was bound to be. And it was just really fun to have several flashback scenes set in high school. I mean, I think for, a lot of people like me who write about love and romance, there is a part of us, hopefully a small part of us, that never really progresses beyond that age, and we're able to kind of tap into those feelings we felt then. So that was really fun for me to write about. I mean, you will catch me all summer long. I've been watching all the new Netflix rom-coms. I cannot get enough of them, right?
Really? So you have to recommend one to me, because I know I'm a guy and I'm not supposed to like them, but I do.
Oh.
I do like them.
Oh my God. Okay. To all the boys I've loved before.
Yeah?
Total slam dunk. So fun to watch.
All right, what to watch?
Okay.
But again, I don't know if you can access your inner 14-year-old as well as I can access mine now. So.
Well, that's what's great about your book, too, is that the dialogue changes. When you're in high school, characters speak one way, and when they're in the professional world, such as journalism, the adults speak another way. You don't carry over, and that's pretty clever of you.
Well, I worked really hard on the dialogue, and one thing that's helpful is I write my novels in this donut shop in our neighborhood, and which is kind of a strange place to write novels, but it works for me. And often, particularly in the afternoons after school, high school kids will come in, and I spend a lot of time eavesdropping, probably more time than is healthy for me to, but obviously I didn't put in all the, there's no, the Butternut Lake is an idealized version of our world, so no 4-letter words made it into it, but exactly. I'm very interested in how differently people that age speak, so it's kind of a sanitized version of that, right?
What kind of donut do you get?
Okay. First of all, I never buy them when I'm writing there, because it's a slippery slope. But if I just pop in, I get, I just keep coming back to the glazed donut. Like, really, has Western civilization progressed beyond that? I don't think so. It's just so perfect. And the donuts they have at this donut shop are huge. They're like the size of your head, basically.
Oh, wow. That's the size of your head. I got a big head. So,
I might be taking a little fictional license with that, but they're big. They're like the big puffy ones, the old fat, the kind that I've noticed, in my city anyway, these newfangled donut places are springing up, and they have interesting flavors, but they're getting smaller. I'm like, who decided that they needed to be half the size and twice the price?
Right.
Some things can't be improved on.
So Dunkin' Donuts is dropping the word donuts from their name.
I heard that. I think that's a terrible mistake.
I don't know what's going.
I'm kidding.
Just called Duncan, I guess. All right, so we have a copy of your book, and I'd like to give it away. If we have a listener who would like The Secrets We Carried, call me, and I'll put your name on it. It'll be waiting for you. The rest of us have to go buy it. You have good reviews on Amazon, so you can get it there. Do you have another website you want to recommend?
So yeah, anywhere books are sold or anywhere you can order them,
Absolutely.
you can find it.
Mary McNear, it's an honor to have you on our show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.